I want to talk about something that came up in the discussion that I had with Tim Kelly, which should be available. The podcast should be available to be listened to within the next couple of days. But something in particular came up that I wanted to just crystallize here because I think it's something important to emphasize. You know, what today gets called woke used to be called PC or politically correct, political correctness. It's the same animal, and it's been around for roughly 35 years or so. I have my own ideas about why and how it first manifested, and the purpose behind it. But what I think we need to do, what people need to do, what thoroughgoing anti-woke people need to do, in my opinion, is stop swatting at this sort of stuff like you're swatting at a fly. And for example, almost every time there's some outrage video about, look what they've done to our favorite franchise, look at this, look at they're talking about women as birthing persons now, and chest feeding and whatever, all the kind of retarded stuff that we all know as being part of this self-same woke project. The phrase that gets repeated a lot by semi-normies, I think, or maybe just normies. I mean, I think you can be a normie and be against woke, but you don't see the fuller picture of it. And so the commentary that I'm referring to is like somebody says something like, "This woke stuff has just gone too far." And they used to say, "This political correctness has just gone too far." Like it's gone too far. And there's a couple things wrong with that statement. The first is, if you say it's gone too far, that suggests that there was a point at which it was permissible or even acceptable or even desirable. And it has never been permissible, acceptable, or desirable. What gets called woke, or what used to be called political correctness, has never been any of those things. Any speck of it is intolerable and should be viewed as intolerable by people who are right thinking. But so there's something about this responding, "Oh, it's gone too far." Something about that automatically feeds into this notion that it was okay when it was here, but now it's way over here, and you need to just pull it back a little, and that leaves room for the whole. And Tim Kelly and I talked about this. Of course, this came up, the whole Hegelian dialectic, problem, reaction, solution. You know, the wokesters do something completely ridiculous and awful and evil, and normal people say, we're against this, but then they say it's gone too far, and then the voice of reason steps in. The voice of reason being, those who had planned this dialectic all along, steps in and says, "You're right. Let's scale it back a little, but let's still, push it further than it was, a few years ago." So that way, incrementally, it keeps rumbling along, and so something like the boiling frog, metaphor is operable, or is applicable. But another thing about saying it's gone too far, this woke stuff has gone too far. It's like swatting at a fly. what should be on the mind of everybody who apprehends this stuff now. What nobody should be off of this page, because there's been so many years and years and years and decades of it. Nobody should be of the mindset that this isn't a big, intricate thing that is being pushed by powerful forces. Because if it weren't being pushed by powerful forces, it would dissipate, like that, like fairy dust. It would all vanish before our eyes, and we'd have, a normal, healthy society again. But it's obviously being pushed by powerful forces. And another reason why I say that is, think of how hated it is. I mean, you may be so in the throes of this culture war mentality that you think, there's so many woke people out there. Really, there's a lot more anti-woke people than there are woke people. There's a lot more people who absolutely hate this stuff. And you can see that every time. You can, like, when things are just allowed to run their natural course, if the wokesters come out with some video, like the Gillette ad, or like Ghostbusters 2016, or the Fauci movie, movie from a couple of years ago. You see how quickly it gets downvoted. Of course, they've made it so you can't see downvotes anymore on YouTube, but that's why, because things like this get just so immediately downvoted, and every comment is about how much they're against it, and how stupid and ridiculous it is, and the ones who produce this stuff, who produce the Fauci doc, or Ghostbusters 2016, or the Gillette ad, they get all flummoxed and say, oh, well, there's all these trolls out there, just a bunch of trolls. No, these are normal people with normal. I mean, this is the silent majority, if you will. So, with that in mind, what I think a person has to understand is, again, there's a big picture here. Like, disliking this stuff hasn't made it go away. And that's not to say to stop being vocally against it. You should mock it. You should deride it at every turn. But one needs to try to understand that its origins are, I was going to say from on high, but it's not from on high. It's from down below. It's from the bowels, not from the mind. It's from the bowels, but it's just the bowels of the system, if you will, of this deeply corrupt and sick system. But it's something that they're pushing with all their might and all their money, and all the prestige at their disposal. So that's just something to keep. I think just to keep in mind. How it seems to get hated more and more all the time. The hatred of it just grows, and yet it doesn't go away. Why is that? Well, obviously it's not a popular mandate. Obviously it's not an organic phenomenon. So where does it come from, and why is it among us? I do, and again, I recommend reading my short essay, my longer essay called Havoc, how the end of the Cold War released a demon in the West. You can also find it on my Substack page. But even, I mean, this isn't just about me promoting myself. Like, just think about it. Just think about why it started when it started in the early 90s. What was going on back then in the world? Put the pieces together. And that's a much more sophisticated way to combat it than just to be flailing around at a bunch of flies that you're annoyed with. So those are just some thoughts on that whole it's gone too far sort of thing. Leave your comments below. Thank you for watching.